after studying a lot of immunity and the immune related systems, cells, etc., what happens in the deficiency of this immunity or immune system? It leads to immunodeficiency diseases, and that's what we are going to see today. Immunodeficiency, in which the system fails to protect the human body from all sorts of invasion, microbials or pathogens, etc. It can be secondary immunodeficiency, which is an acquired one, or which is more common also, or it can be primary immunodeficiency. Now, this primary immunodeficiency, that is a developmental defect in the genes, genetic defect, chromosomal defect, some developmental defect. Whereas secondary immunodeficiency, which is acquired during life, maybe because of different infection, different causes. We all know HIV. We all know this coronavirus, which is going on, which has created a pandemic here. That is a virus, and that leads to deficiency of the immune system, and that's how the pathophysiology goes on, giving rise to myocarditis, respiratory distress, etc. So that is an acquired immunodeficiency. HIV infection also gives rise to the acquired and secondary immunodeficiency, whereas the primary ones are genetic or developmental defects. Now, primary immunodeficiencies are the deficiencies of the lymphoid system or lymphoid cells, because we all know that it's the lymphocytes, B lymphocyte and the T lymphocyte, which plays a major role in defending the human body in the immune defense. So if any deficiency occurs in this T cell or B cell, leads to this immunodeficiency diseases or disorders, and which can be primary, genetically monitored, or genetic defect, chromosomal defect, or developmental defect. It can be a combination of both B cells and T cells deficiencies or some disorders. It can just be B cell immunodeficiency or T cell immunodeficiency. But you will come across many of the conditions where you find that there can be overlapping, because some T cells, some B cells are interdependent on each other. So many a time there is an overlapping of deficiencies in different immunodeficiency diseases. अरे कौन गा रहा है? So the range from absence of B cells, plasma cell, B cell immunodeficiency, or immunoglobulins to absence of only certain classes of antibodies or immunoglobulins. So the range, there is a wide range. There is a spectrum of defect that can occur and that can give rise to this B cell immunodeficiency diseases, right? It can be complete absence of B cell. It can be absence of the plasma cell. The B lymphocyte may not get activated into a plasma cell, or there may be absence of antibodies. Antibodies are not produced. All of the 5 antibodies are not produced. A certain class of antibodies may not be produced. And this type of deficiencies is subject to bacterial infection, but do well against virals, since T cell branch is okay, because viral infections are taken care of by the T cells or the cell mediated immunity, because all this intracellular pathogens, which is virus also, they are taken care of by the cell mediated immunity, which is governed by the T lymphocyte. So when it is a deficiency with B cells, then the subject is more prone for bacterial infections, uncontrolled bacterial infection. T cell immunodeficiency can affect both humoral or cell mediated, because many a time most of the B cells are dependent on the T cell activation. So can affect both humoral and cell mediated immunity. Now, immunodeficiency disease will be deficiency because of the hormonal or B cells. Or, well, somebody is talking, please don't. Humoral immunodeficiency, cellular immune, or it can be cellular immunodeficiency, that is the T cell, or combination of this two. Okay, so that has made things so very easy, right? And this can be primary immunodeficiency, genetically determined, or some chromosomal abnormality, or developmental defects. Okay, and secondary again that we have said. Now coming to the primary immunodeficiency, it can be a disorders of specific immunity, like the humoral, cellular, combination too. Or it can be disorders of the complements. So something wrong with the complement. Or it can be disorders of phagocytosis. We are all aware of the phagocytic cells, macro and microphagocytic cells. So if there is some disorder, genetically determined or developmental disorders of this phagocyte, then it will lead to different immunodeficiency diseases, right? Now, considering the disorder of specific immunity, for example, the humoral immunodeficiency, B cell defect. Now here we'll see one by one the different disorder that we come across. Actually, my work has become very easy if I tell you that the immunodeficiency disease is because of the defects in this T cell, B cell combination, or defect in the complement system, or defect in the phagocytic cells. So things have become very easy, right? These are the primary immunodeficiency, and the secondaries, which is acquired during life because of some certain viral infection, maybe because of some drug, maybe because of some malignancy which has altered the immune system, will lead to secondary type of immunodeficiency, isn't it? So it's very easy, and actually my topic of today's lecture is that way over. But well, now that you are in second MBBS and you are supposed to know the different type of clinical presentation or diseases because of this deficiency, we have to go into the detail of this all. Okay, so humoral immunodeficiency or B cell defect may be because of X-linked agammaglobulinemia. X-linked means the defect is in the X chromosome that leads to gammaglobulinemia. So now let's see in short what is this X-linked gammaglobulinemia. So this is a syndrome which was described by Bruton in 1952 and is the first immunodeficiency disease to have been recognized. And as you see, this X-linked, it is only seen in male infants. And how do they manifest? The disease is not apparent till about 6 months of age due to the passive protection afforded by the maternal antibodies. It presents as a recurrent serious infection with pyogenic bacteria, particularly with the pneumococci, streptococci, meningococci, pseudomonas, and H. influenzae. And patients respond normally to viral infection such as measles and chickenpox. Why? Because that is taken care by the T lymphocyte, which is not abnormal, which is normal. Okay, so this is how it presents. And because of this, there has been report of it can lead to paralysis also because of some poliomyelitis and progressive encephalitis. Okay, so this is one. Second is, well, how do you manage it? Management for the first, it consists of maintenance of adequate level of immunoglobulins. And this can be achieved by an initial administration of 300 milligram gamma-globulin. All this treatment part will be taught to you in pharmacology, so I need not go into the detail. We move on to the next disorder, which is specific, and that is transient hypogammaglobulinemia of infant C. This is due to an abnormal delay in the initiation of the IgG synthesis in some infants. Maternal IgG is slowly catabolized in the newborn and reaches a level of 200 milligram per 100 ml by the second month. Okay. Ordinarily, the infant begins synthesizing his or her own IgG by this age, after the age of 3 months or so. When there is a delay, immunodeficiency occurs, and then the patient will, or the child or infant will present with a recurrent otitis media, respiratory infection, and this type of condition is commonly seen. But then spontaneous recovery occurs within 18 to 30 months of age, and it is found in both male and the female infants. And how do we manage it? Treatment with gamma globulin may be required in some cases, but it is not recommended prophylactically, as it may contribute to prolongation of the immunodeficiency by negative feedback inhibition of IgG synthesis. So prophylactically, it should not be given. Only in cases if they are suffering from the recurrent otitis media or some respiratory infection, then only you have to give immunoglobulin. Otherwise, by the age of 18 to 30 months, it is a delay, no? So they start producing their own immunoglobulins. So it is a transient phase, right? Then comes your common variable immunodeficiency or late onset of hypogammaglobulinemia. The previous one was in the infancy and this one is in the late stage. Now this is a common form of immunodeficiency, and it manifests by the age of 15 to 35 years of age, and it is characterized by recurrent pyogenic infection, increased incidence of autoimmune diseases. Malabsorption and giardiasis are commonly seen in this condition. The total immunoglobulin level is usually low, and B cell may be present in circulation in normal number, but they appear defective in their ability to differentiate into plasma cells and secrete immunoglobulins. Okay, so increased suppressor T cell and diminished helper T cell activity have also been proposed as a cause of this disorder. Okay. So even T cell, there may be increased suppressed T cell or diminished helper T cell, and that's why it can lead to this common variable immunodeficiency or late onset hypogammaglobulinemia. And how do you manage it? Treatment is by administration of gamma globulin preparation intramuscularly or intravenously. Then the other humoral or B cell defect is selective immunoglobulin deficiency of IgA, M or IgG subclasses. So these subclasses are deficient, and then in this condition there is a selective deficiency, okay, while the other remains normal or even elevated. These dysgammaglobulinemia are common and have been reported in about 1% of all patients with recurrent infection. Isolated IgA deficiency is the most common condition in this group, with a reported incidence of about 0.2% in normal population. These patients exhibit increased susceptibility to respiratory infection and steatorrhea. IgA deficiency is often accompanied by atopic disorder, and anti-IgA antibodies are present in many of these patients. Then selective IgM deficiency have been found to be associated with septicemia. Deficiency of IgG subclass have been observed in relation with chronic progressive bronchiectasis. And then how do we manage this patient? Preventive antibiotics may be used to help diminish the frequency of recurrent infection. Then individuals with IgA deficiency often require a longer course of antibiotics for infection to get clear. Then immunodeficiency with hyper IgM. Now, in this group of immunodeficiency, some of which are X-linked and some inherited as autosomal recessive, there is a low IgA and IgG level and elevated IgM level. The IgM molecule appears to have normal structure and possesses antibody activity. Patients show enhanced susceptibility to infections and autoimmune processes such as thrombocytopenia, neutropenia, hemolytic anemia, and renal lesions. Some patients develop malignant infiltration of IgM producing cells. Elevated IgM level with immunodeficiency is sometimes seen in congenital rubella. And then how do you manage this patient? By intravenous immunoglobulin therapy, and that has significantly reduced the upper respiratory tract, and severe infection can be reduced if you give intravenous IgM therapy. Transcobalamin 2 deficiency. In this disorder, it is inherited as an autosomal recessive trait, and patients show the metabolic effect of B12 deficiency, including megaloblastic anemia. So, megaloblastic anemia and intestinal villus atrophy. Associated immunological defects are that is the depleted plasma cells, then diminished immunoglobulin level, and impaired phagocytosis. And you can manage this condition by vitamin B12. You can give it orally or intravenously, and this will help you to restore the hemopoietic and gastrointestinal and B cell function. But then phagocytic activity has not much help. Now, amongst the specific immunity or cellular immunodeficiency, that is the T cell defects. Amongst the T cell defects is thymic hypoplasia. It is also known as DiGeorge syndrome. And here you can be asked a short note on this thymic hypoplasia or DiGeorge syndrome. Now, this is a developmental defect involving the endodermal derivatives of the third and fourth pharyngeal pouches during the development. Okay, it leads to aplasia, or aplasia means complete absence of thymus, or hypoplasia of thymus and parathyroid glands. It does not appear to be hereditary and does not show a familial incidence either. It is probably due to some intrauterine infection or other complications during the development of the baby or the embryo. It is usually associated with Fallot tetralogy and other anomalies of the heart and the great vessel, and a characteristic facial appearance is seen with this type of babies. Neonatal tetany is present. Patients who survive the neonatal period show enhanced susceptibility to viral, fungal, and bacterial infection, which ultimately proves fatal. I shall be showing you the clinical presentation of this DiGeorge syndrome. The immunodeficiency primarily involves cell-mediated immunity. The thymus-dependent areas of the lymph nodes, spleen are depleted of the lymphocyte. The circulating T cells are reduced in number, and delayed hypersensitivity and graft rejection are depressed. The humoral immune mechanism are largely affected. And we manage this by transplantation of the fetal thymus tissue, which can restore the immunological function. So transplantation of thymus, that is how it can be done. Then this chronic mucocutaneous candidiasis can also occur in T cell defect. I shall be showing the clinical presentation of this chronic mucocutaneous candidiasis, how it appears. This constitutes an abnormal Abnormal immunological response to Candida albicans. Patients develop severe and chronic for long duration candidiasis of the mucosa, skin, and nails. They do not show increased susceptibility to other infection, but often have endocraniopathy, and cell-mediated immunity to Candida is deficient. Then delayed hypersensitivity to Candida antigen is absent, but circulating antibodies to them show high titer. They are seen in high titer. Okay, antibodies against this Candida. Intracellular killing of the bacteria or intracellular killing of here the Candida is defective, because cell-mediated immunity take care of the intracellular pathogens. So this Candida intracellular, they cannot be dealt with. And then how do we treat this? By giving the transfer factor therapy along with amphotericin B, which is an antifungal drug, and this has shown some promising effect. Then the third type of this T cell defect is purine nucleoside phosphorylase deficiency. This enzyme purine nucleoside phosphorylase is involved in the sequential degradation of the purine to hypoxanthine and finally to uric acid. Patients who have PNP deficiency as an autosomal recessive inherent triad show increased CMI and decreased CMI, it shows the cell-mediated immunity is reduced and therefore a recurrent or chronic infection. They usually present with hypoplastic anemia and recurrent pneumonia, diarrhea, and candidiasis. Due to defect in the purine degradation, serum uric acid is low and may point to its diagnosis. So if you do serum uric acid, it is very, very low, and that will help you in your diagnosis. And then how do you manage it? Allogenic hematopoietic stem cell transplantation. Stem cell transplantation helps here. That is the choice of treatment to restore the immunological function. Now comes your combined immunodeficiency defects, where the defects lies with both B and T cell. And this is known as a combined one. Well, the previous one which we studied, you must have realized there can be overlap because they depend on each other. T cell and B cell, they depend upon each other. So in the combined one, this is pure combined one, there can be cellular immunodeficiency with abnormal immunoglobulin synthesis. And this condition is known as Nasilov syndrome. So the term Nasilov syndrome has been rather loosely applied to a group of disorder, probably of varied origin, which depresses the cell-mediated immunity in association with selective elevated, decrease, or normal level of immunoglobulin, means antibodies. The consistent features are a marked deficiency of T cell immunity and varying degree of deficiency of B cell immunity. Patients are susceptible to recurrent fungal, bacterial, viral, and protozoal diseases. Abundant plasma cells are seen in the spleen, lymph nodes, intestine, everywhere in the body, and the thymic dysplasia occurs with lymphoid depletion. Autoimmune processes such as hemolytic anemia are common with Nasilov syndrome. In spite of normal level of immunoglobulin, antigenic stimuli do not induce antibody formation. Though the immunoglobulin levels are normal, stimuli doesn't provoke the plasma cell to produce the antibody. And then how do you manage it? Histocompatible bone marrow transplantation is needed here. Then transfer factor and thymus transplantation have been used for its treatment with success in some of the cases. And then adequate antimicrobial therapy is essential in cases of infections. Ataxia telangiectasia, this is another disorder seen with combined B and T cell defect. And this is a hereditary condition transmitted in the autosomal recessive mode, where combined immunodeficiencies associated with cerebellar ataxia telangiectasia, ovarian dysgenesis, and chromosomal abnormalities. Ataxia and choreothyroid movements are usually noted in infancy. Telangiectasia involving the conjunctiva, face, and other part of the body usually appears at 5 or 6 years of age, and then death occurs due to cyanopulmonary infection early in life. So the life expectancy here in this case is low, or malignancy in the second or third decade. The majority of the patient lack serum and secretory IgA, and some possesses antibody to IgA and IgE, antibody to this antibody. Okay, deficiency is also frequent. Cell-mediated immunity is also defective, resulting in impairment or delayed hypersensitivity and graft rejection. And then how do you treat this? By transfer factor therapy and fetal thymus transplant that has been tried and that has shown some success, that the result was quite promising. Then comes your Wiskopf-Albrecht syndrome. This is an X-linked disease. I shall be showing the picture of this also, which is characterized by eczema, thrombocytopenia purpura, and recurrent infection. And affected boys rarely survive the first decade of life, death being due to infection, hemorrhage, or lymphoreticular malignancy. And cell-mediated immunity undergoes progressive deterioration associated with cellular depletion of the thymus and the paracortical areas of lymph node. And then serum IgM level is low, but serum IgG and IgA level are normal or elevated. So what is low here in Wiskopf-Albrecht syndrome is IgM. This you may get as an MCQ, so that you should remember. But then IgG and IgA levels are normal. IgM level only goes down. Isohemagglutinins are absent in the serum, and the humoral defect appears to be a specific inability to respond to polysaccharide antigens. That means the bacterial antigens. And how do you manage this Wiskopf-Albrecht syndrome? By bone marrow transplantation, and also transfer factor therapy has shown some good result. Then come your immunodeficiency with thymoma. This also I shall be showing you the clinical presentation. This syndrome, occurring usually in adults, consists of a benign thymic tumor. There is a tumor, thymic tumor, impaired cell-mediated immunity, and agammaglobulinemia. It is frequently accompanied by aplastic anemia. This is of historical importance as one of the experiments of nature which suggested the immunological function of the thymus. Then your immunodeficiency with short-limbed dwarfism. The feature of this condition are a distinct form of short-limbed dwarf. So this is ectodermal dysplasia, thymic defect, and this person is susceptible to infection. These defects are apparently inherited as autosomal recessive one. Then episodic lymphopenia and thrombocytotoxins is a syndrome where episodes but profound depression of T cell function by the action of circulating complement-dependent lymphocytotoxins occur. The toxins appear to be an anti-lymphocytic antibody. The patient lack immunological memory, so the secondary antibody response is completely abolished because there is no memory cell. And this disease is also a familiar one. Then comes your severe combined immunodeficiency. Now this is very important. 3 conditions have been given under this severe combined immunodeficiency, and the short form of this is SCID, and you get a short note on this severe combined immunodeficiency. This includes many syndromes with severe deficiency of both humoral and cell-mediated response. They are inherited in autosomal recessive mode, and the primary defects are at the level of early precursor of immunocompetent cells in the fetal liver and bone marrow. Many distinct patterns of severe combined immunodeficiency has been described. And in 1958, Swiss workers reported immunogammaglobulinemia with lymphocytopenia and severe defect of cell-mediated immunity. This, I shall be showing this. Swiss type A gammaglobulinemia. Now, this basic defect is presumed to be at the level of lymphoid stem cell. Then the other one is reticular dysgenesis of Duval. Here the defect is at the level of multipotent hemopoietic stem cell. We would like to see this hemopoietic branching. No? So I shall be showing you this. Here just pay attention that the severe combined immunodeficiency are of 3 types. Swiss type gammaglobulinemia, which is at the level of lymphoid cell. Lymphoid cell here. Then the other one is reticular dysgenesis of Duval. Here the defect is at the level of multipotent hemopoietic stem cell, as a result of which there is a total failure of myeloporosis leading to lymphopenia, reduced lymphocyte, neutropenia, thrombocytopenia, and anemia, and bone marrow aplasia. All the blood cells are reduced, severely reduced, because the defect is at the level of multipotent hemopoietic stem cell. The most serious form and condition is invariably fatal in the first week of life. The baby doesn't survive. And the third one is adenosine deaminase deficiency. So these are the 3 types of severe combined immunodeficiency. In adenosine deaminase deficiency, there is the first immunodeficiency disease associated with an enzyme deficiency, and ADA catalyzes the conversion of adenosine to inosine into the purine metabolism pathway. So this enzyme is deficient. How this deficiency causes immunological impairment is not yet clear. The range of immunodeficiency varies from complete absence to mild abnormalities in the B and T cell function, and the condition is associated with chondrocyte abnormalities, which can be seen radiologically. You can see that. Now, disorders of the complement. The complement component may be deficient. We have seen the different complement components ranging from C1 to C9. So one of them may be deficient, or there may be deficiency of the inhibitor, because when the complement cascade is going on, to restrict the anaphylactic component or the other component, inflammatory component, mediate, etc. Once its work is over, it has to be inhibited. So if those inhibitors are deficient, then also it will lead to different complement disorders. So complete component deficiency, these are genetic deficiencies, and have been detected for almost all the complement component in the human being from C1 to C9. The defects are transmitted as autosomal recessive traits. The hemolytic and other functional activities are completely restored by supplying the deficient factor. So this is how you can manage it. And complement component deficiency have been frequently associated with SLA, systemic lupus erythematosus, and then recurrent pyogenic infection were also found to be associated with C3 deficiency, and Neisseria infection with the deficiency of C6, 7, and 8. And then this complement inhibitory deficiency, it is again hereditary, and hereditary angioneurotic edema is seen, genetic deficiency, and the C1 inhibitors are deficient. This relatively common defect is transmitted as an autosomal dominant trait. The rare deficiency of the C3b inactivator has been associated with chronic or recurrent pyogenic lesion. And then how do you manage these disorders of complements, or especially this inhibitor deficiency? By androgens aminocaprin acid and its analog analog acids are given and has been found to be useful. Okay, so this was the disorder with the complement. Now, disorders of phagocytosis. This phagocytosis may be impaired by intrinsic defect. Intrinsic disorder may be due to defect within the phagocytic cell, such as an enzyme deficiency. And extrinsic disorder may be due to a deficiency of the opsonic antibody, complement, or other factor promoting the phagocytosis, or to the defect of a drug or anti-neutrophilic autoantibodies. So phagocytic dysfunction lead to increased susceptibility to infection, ranging from mild or recurrent skin infection to overwhelming systemic infection. Okay, so amongst this is chronic granulomatous disease. What happens in this, and what is this chronic granulomatous disease? It is a familiar disease, and it manifests itself as a recurrent infection with low-grade pathogens, and starting early in life. The progress is chronic and the outcome fatal. That's why it is known as chronic. Chronic suppurative granulomatous lesion develop in the skin and lymph nodes, along with hepatosplenomegaly, then progressive infiltration of lungs, and granulomatous septic osteomyelitis, humoral and cellular immune response are otherwise normal. Okay, because the defect is in the phagocytosis, and which is familiar. And then that's why different bacterial infections are very common here. Then myeloperoxidase deficiency. This is a rare disease. Leukocytes have reduced myeloperoxidase, and patients particularly are liable to Candida albicans infection. The fungal infection is like fungal infection. Then comes your Chidiac-Higashi syndrome. This is a genetic disorder characterized by decreased pigmentation of the skin, eye, and hair, and photophobia, and nystagmus, and giant peroxidase positive inclusions in the cytoplasm of the leukocytes that you can see in the peripheral blood smears. The inclusions may be the result of autophagocytic activity. The leukocytes possesses diminished phagocytic activity, and patients suffer from frequent and severe pyogenic infection in this Chidiac-Higashi syndrome. Then comes your phagocytic disorder is leukocytin G6, it should be leukocyte G6PD deficiency. In this rare disease, leukocytes are deficient in glucose G6 you call it glucose 6 phosphatase dehydrogenase, and show diminished bactericidal activity after phagocytosis. The condition resembles chronic granulomatous disease and reduced myeloperoxidase activity and susceptibility to microbial agent. Okay. Then comes your Job syndrome. This is characterized by multiple large abscesses, cold abscesses we call it, and that abscesses because of the staphylococci. Staphylococci are common cells on the skin, but then in cases of this phagocytic deficiency, which is known as Job syndrome, a lot of abscesses on the skin can occur, and with little inflammatory response, so they don't heal fast. And atopic eczema, then chronic nasal discharge, otitis media, infection of the ear are common features. And serum immunoglobulins are normal except for the level of IgE. And the pathogenesis of the syndrome is not clear, but it is probably a primary defect in the phagocytic function of the phagocytes. Then come your trypsin deficiency. This is a leukocyte capable of stimulating phagocytosis, and it was discovered by Tufts University, Boston, and has been designated Depsin. Chemically, it is a small tetrapeptide. The patient with Depsin deficiency has been reported to be prone to local and systemic bacterial infection. And here come your lazy leukocyte syndrome. The basic defect here is the chemotaxis and neutrophil mobility. The bone marrow has the normal number of neutrophils, but there is peripheral neutropenia with poor leukocyte response to chemical and inflammatory stimulation. Patients show increased susceptibility to bacterial infection and recurrent stomatitis, gingivitis, and otitis. And then is hyper IgE syndrome. This hyper IgE syndrome, it affects both male and female patients and have early onset of uh, eczema and a recurrent bacterial infection, abscesses, pneumonia, secondary infection, eczema. The organisms responsible include your Staphylococcus aureus and Streptococcus pyogenes. Cellular and humoral immune mechanism are normal, but the serum IgE levels are usually more than 10 times the normal level. Then comes your actin binding protein deficiency. Frequent infection and slow mobility of leukocytes results from the defective actin binding protein in this patient. And the last one is your Schwarzman's disease. In this condition, frequent infections are found together with decreased neutrophil mobility and pancreatic syndrome, right? So, and pancreatic malfunction and many bone abnormalities are also seen in this disease, Schwarzman's disease. So this was all about the immunodeficiency, and that too the primary one. Okay, primary one which deals with your B cell, T cell components and phagocytic cells. Now here, see, reticular dysfunction. This is the stem cell. So reticular dysfunction occur with the stem cell, or there can be a defect in the myeloid progenitor cell, leading to congenital agranulocytosis. And if things go wrong here, it leads to severe combined immunodeficiency disorders, lymphoid progenitor cell if it gets affected. So it is combined deficiency of both B and T cell and leads to all the disorders of this uh, SCID. Then T cell DiGeorge syndrome, then Barr lymphocyte syndrome. So this is to show you at which stage the defect has occurred and with what the patient or the baby presents with. If it is the defect with this neutrophil, then the patient presents with chronic granulomatous diseases. If it is with the neutrophil, phagocytic cells, then it leads to leukocyte adhesion deficiency, and many of them are X-linked agammaglobulinemia. Okay, so this is a picture to show where exactly the defect is occurring. Now with the defect with the mature T cells, then Wyshkov's-Eldridge syndrome occurs. If it is the thymus, then DiGeorge syndrome occurs. Okay. Then if it is with the plasma cell, then there will be selective immunoglobulin deficiencies. Or if both, then common variable hypogammaglobulinemia. So depends upon where exactly the defect is. And this is to show you the immune system that is affected and the disorder that it gives rise to. Just now we have almost uh, described all the disorders. So here just a fast revision: humoral immunity, problem with the B cells, B lymphocytes, and the production of antibodies leads to common variable immunodeficiency, deficiency of the specific antibodies, or transient hypogammaglobulinemia in infants, which get recovered after the baby grows to about 18 or 20 months. And then there can be X-linked gammaglobulinemia. This is again a autosomal recessive type of disorder which affects the male. Female can be carrier, but the male boy gets affected. Then cellular immunity, problem with T lymphocyte, chronic mucocutaneous candidiasis. I shall be showing this to figure just now. Then DiGeorge syndrome is seen with T cell defect. It can also lead to X-linked lymphoproliferative syndrome. Then combined one, ataxia, telangiectasia, then hyperimmunoglobulinemia, E syndrome, and severe combined. You get a short note on this, okay? So you should know the three conditions which you see with severe combined immunodeficiency, and you have to write all about it. This is another one. Then phagocytic chronic granulomatous disease, then DJAK syndrome, then lymphocyte deficiency, then deficiency of the complement component. It can be C3 deficiency, C4 deficiency, or here it is not been shown, but 667 deficiency is here. I can't see, I think you can see that. So this is just to show you where the defect lies in the genes. X-linked recessive inheritance. Here the boy is the boy is affected and the girls are not affected. Our girl can be a carrier because it is a X-linked. We have discussed it all. Here also this we have discussed. This is just to show you primary immunodeficiency combined, which is a combined one, and where the thymus is decrease or absence of thymus. This is known as DiGeorge syndrome. Results from depletion of region of chromosome 22 in developing embryo. It is a developmental anomaly. And lower T cell number results in B cells not producing sufficient antibodies. So this is DiGeorge syndrome. And this is a Nasilov. It is an inherited disorder, and generally the infant cannot survive. General failure to survive. It is a quite severe type of condition. This is how the face of the DiGeorge syndrome looks like. See. The baby can have a cleft lip or palate, small jaw, small upper lip or mouth, eyes are slanting upwards or downwards, low set or low set or abnormal folding of ears, short stature, mild to moderate learning difficulties, underdeveloped parathyroid and thymus, and then they also presents with some cardiac malformation. This is the DiGeorge syndrome. You can get a short note on this DiGeorge syndrome in microbiology, in pathology, or even in your pediatrics. And this is a mucocutaneous candidiasis. Can you see this? So candidiasis of the skin, of the mucosa, on the lip, you can see on the nails. So this is what I think we have dealt with in detail with this severe combined immunodeficiency, also known as SCID. So you can get a note on this where you have to mention the decreased lymphocytes, then non-proliferating T cell, and then poor development of thymus, its fertility in the early life. Infant will have a viral or fungal infection to which he can succumb, and bacteria doesn't show up until later because the baby has been supported by the placental transfer of the antibodies from the mother. It can lead to chronic diarrhea, pneumonia, lesion. Many genetic defect can attribute to this SCID. There can be defect in the major histocompatibility complex also, and symptoms can resemble that of the SCID. There is lack of MHC2 bar lymphocyte, and this is also known as bar lymphocyte syndrome, and it mimics the clinical presentation is better like of this SCID. Now this is a primary immunodeficiency, combined immunodeficiency with the this Wyshkov's-Rich syndrome. It is X-linked disorder. Initially, B and T cell numbers are normal, but will decrease with age. And it can be treated with passive antibodies or stem cell transfer, and can result into fatal infection or lymphoid malignancy. The baby can succumb to fatal infection or some malignant lymphoid malignancy, leukemias, etc. Immunodeficiency with thrombocytopenia and eczema. This is a X-linked recessive disease with all this, and can lead to recurrent infection ending in the early death. The only treatment is bone marrow transplantation. The thymus is initially normal, but there is progressive age-related depletion of T lymphocyte in the peripheral blood and lymph node with recurrent loss of cellular immunity. Patients are also prone to develop malignant lymphomas. The responsible gene map to the X chromosome and encodes a protein that links several membrane and receptor to the cytoskeleton. Although the mechanism is not known, a defect in this protein could result in abnormal cellular morphology, including platelet shape, change in the platelet shape in this thing, or defective cytoskeleton development, dependent activation signals in the lymphocyte and other leukocyte with abnormal cell adherence and leukocyte migration. So this one is a normal. Here it is thrombocytopenia, thrombo, and eczema and all that takes place. So this is how the eczema the patient presents with on the skin, and this is on the palm actually. Now this one is a primary immunodeficiency, which is a combined immunodeficiency, and this is along with thymoma. Thymoma is it can be a benign tumor of the thymus, and it leads to then you see the conjunctivitis. This is stomatitis, and this is a candida infection of the tongue. So mucocutaneous lesions are very commonly seen with this combined immunodeficiency along with thymoma. There is a hyper IgE syndrome, which is also known as Job syndrome, which is an autosomal dominant disorder, genetic disorder, and then the patient presents with lot of skin abscesses. Always there is an abscess present. Then lungs get affected, leading to pneumonia, eczema, then facial abnormalities, and then if you see the blood count, high level of eosinophilia is seen, and if you go see the antibodies, IgE antibodies are raised 10 times, very high raise of IgE and antibodies, and eosinophilia is seen in the blood. Then X-linked agammaglobulinemia, we have seen this previously, because the male are the one which get affected. It is a B cell defect in the kinase that keeps the B cell in pre-D stage, and H change rearranged but L change not. Low level of IgG and absence of other classes, and then the patient presents with a recurrent bacterial infection. This is again all repetitions. Well, selective deficiency of immunoglobulin classes is IgA deficiency is most common. Recurrent respiratory and urinary tract infection, intestinal problem occurs because IgA is the antibodies which protect the mucosal surface, right? Then IgG deficiency are rare here in selective deficiency one, and can often be treated by administering by giving this immunoglobulin intravenous. leukocyte adhesion, integrate proteins needed for adhesion and cellular interaction. Defect limits recruitment of cells into the area of inflammation. And Chidiac-Yasi, this is a phagocytic defect, which is also known as innate immunodeficiency. This is autosomal recessive disease. Phagocytes don't have ability to kill the bacteria. Then innate interferon gamma receptor defect, autosomal recessive trait results from inbreeding defect in the receptor of interferon gamma and subsequent pathways. Patient suffers from infection with Mycobacterium, showing importance of this receptor in fighting the Mycobacterium. Then innate myeloid immunodeficiency affect the innate immune system, impaired phagocytic process, and recurrent bacterial infection. And myeloid immunodeficiency also lead to low concentration of granulocytopenia or neutropenia. Congenital neutropenia will of course lead to recurrent bacterial infection. And then acquired one is because of some drug or chemotherapy can cause this, and it can also lead to autoimmune disorder, which lead to destruction of the neutrophil. Here again, innate immunodeficiency, fairly common, mostly associated with bacterial infection or immune complex diseases. This is in short diseases associated with complement deficiencies, C3 and factor B, severe bacterial infection, C3b, inhibitor A, C6 and C8, severe Neisseria infection, then deficiency of early C component C1, 4 and 2, SLE or glomerulonephritis and polymyositis. Then C1 inhibitor, hereditary angioedema. Treatment in general, a replacement of the missing protein, administering the immunoglobulin, express genes in vitro in bacteria or cytokines, then replacement of missing cell type that has to be done with the bone marrow transplant, and a replacement of the defective gene therapy. This is just to show the acquired immunodeficiency diseases caused by HIV. I won't go into the detail of this. This is all related to the secondary immunodeficiency due to HIV infection. And thank you. My